Now welcome to another edition of News from Naboo with Thor's Lightning Takes. And let's get right to the news.
Alright, we know yesterday the Rebel Moon trailer, the new one, dropped. There was a big huzzah on Netflix. I mean, it was the end of their Geeked Week, where they showcased the new trailer. They had a sit-down with Zack Snyder where they answered questions. They also did, a trailer in-depth dive explaining who these characters are, a little bit of information on them as they went. It was kind of good. I like that. But what I want to know is, could maybe Rebel Moon being a success, I mean, that's premature to say, but could this movie, maybe being a huge success, could this be bad for Disney?
It can't be good.
I mean, it's a slap in the face for Disney, right? If Rebel Moon is a huge success when this was originally pitched to be kind of Star Wars.
Well, I mean, it kind of sucks for them in that respect, but at the same time, if it's a huge... I mean, anything obviously being a huge win that's not Disney is kind of a loss for them in a manner of speaking. But when it's something that's like, this is the new Star Wars, and it does really well in your Star Wars, which is the real Star Wars, is kind of like, I mean, yeah, it'll be... I don't know. I don't know how successful this will be. I don't know what metric we'll even judge it by. So it's hard. I'm sure it's going to do well.
Well, and then there's the fact that Netflix is still the king of streaming.
Oh,
no doubt about it. Netflix is the king of streaming, and Disney Plus and Hulu, it's doing all it can to try to get the viewership, get those numbers, make the kind of money that Netflix clearly makes.
I think the problem with Disney Plus is all it has is Marvel and Star Wars, and it doesn't do them extremely well.
That's true.
I mean, for the most part, there's exceptions, of course.
But those are the flagships.
Yeah, I mean, even Loki, which is being praised by everybody right now. Everybody loved Loki. It was excellent, sure. Mm-hmm. But the numbers, as far as we've seen, haven't exactly been there.
No, that's a shame in itself. It could be because it's a season 2 type thing. It could be because people have lost faith in Marvel.
I think Marvel is... I hate to be kind of cliche at this point, but Marvel is suffering. Marvel is on the downward trend, and I don't know that anything brings it back.
It's such a weird thing because it's like, well, should they be making more building up to some big climax type thing, or should they be making more standalone projects that you can just watch and enjoy? The Eternals was weird. Was kind of trying to do both in a way, but then they dropped all of that. The Marvels kind of stands a little bit by itself. You had Shang-Chi, which... again, just kind of standing by itself. And it's like, do we want them to be connected? Do we not want them to be connected? Guardians of the Galaxy, same thing. It tail-ended its own story, but there's nothing right now that seems to really be the big picture. Just little droplets of it here and there. I mean, the biggest picture we got came from Ant-Man Quantumanium with Kang, Loki with Kang, and the Marvels with multiverse stuff.
I think the problem is, and we're kind of getting off topic, we were going to talk about Rebel Moon, but the problem is, now there is so much out there. Like when the MCU started, it was one movie and then a second movie, which and they were kind of independent yet loosely connected. They kind of did the best of both worlds with those first few movies. And then it came to Avengers, and you only had to see 5 movies to understand Avengers. There's 6 characters in there. It's easy. It makes sense. Now we've gotten to the point where it's just they have characters everywhere doing all sorts of different things. We have a multiverse. It's just so... It's so convoluted at this point. It's just so massive. So the biggest
problem seems to be that they've grown too big for their britches. They've spread out too far from that OG team.
I mean, can you imagine being, a younger person, right? Because obviously we've been there since the start. A lot of people have been there since the start. I watched them one movie at a time as they came out. And imagine you're, a younger person. You're like, well, Marvel looks interesting, but there's 30 movies and all these shows. How do I even know where to get into this? How do I understand any of it? It must feel daunting.
It probably, yeah, there's reasons that, even in the anime world, I won't start certain anime because I look at that list and I go, as much as I really want to watch this and I'm interested in this, I don't have time for 300 plus episodes right now.
Yeah, and it's all connected in a very linear way. You look at Star Wars, and Star Wars, I used to think it kind of was a disadvantage for Star Wars not to be kind of linear, to jump all over the timeline and all over the galaxy. But now it's you can jump in at any point. I can go watch, the prequels, or I can watch this, and it's kind of its own independent story. But Marvel, you watch something and you feel like there's so much history there, and it's so linear. It's all led to this point right now in this movie, where Star Wars doesn't have to do that. That has actually, I think, become a luxury for Star Wars that they aren't capitalizing on. And then bringing it back to Rebel Moon, it has the luxury of starting.
Exactly.
Right?
This is your jumping on point. Here we go. The trailer looked super interesting. I'm still on board. I shouldn't even say the special effects. They used practical effects. They built the village for the farms. I was impressed because, as we've said with Andor, practical effects are still...
It's still king.
There's still something special because there's just...
Something physical
your brain
that
somehow
you see it
knows
there. Yep.
what is real and what is not a lot of times.
Well,
it's hard to do.
We're blurring that line more and more every day,
right.
but I know what you're saying.
But knowing that the effects were practical, that things were real, just elevates it in my head.
Yeah, and what we talked about in yesterday's video was we kind of just take it slow, right? We don't need 80 million comic books and attachment novels. I'm not saying you can't get there, but make one good movie. Let people judge this movie if it's good and they like it. Okay, let's branch out from it.
I get that this is exploding in his brain because he's been working on this in his head for like 30 years, but it hasn't done that for everybody else yet.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like Star Wars started as one movie, right? Nobody had any context. We didn't need like a book before we watched it to get into it. No, it's just really one fantastic movie, and then it's like, well, let's make another one. And let's make some books and do some comics, and let's blow this thing up because people wanted it to be blown up.
Disney did also come out and say that they are not planning on licensing any Star Wars or Marvel content to Netflix. They want to keep those flagship properties on their
that's
platform.
all they got. I just said it before. That is all you have on Disney Plus, other than all the Disney classics and stuff. Don't get me wrong, Disney has a lot going for it in that respect. But new content, it's all Marvel and Star Wars.
But on another topic, it was really weird. We do know that Netflix has made deals with Warner Brothers Discovery, and they're like getting licensing to movies like Aquaman or Joker, which is interesting that Max is doing it. They also got Dune Part 1. So I forget, HBO gave Netflix Dune Part 1.
I mean, at the same time, though, that does advertise your kind of... I mean, it's not like Dune... Yes, Dune is a franchise in upon itself. Tons of books, all that. But it's not like... It's not a mainstream franchise.
It was also a move to make sure maximum eyes got to see this.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. It's not like it's losing this massive property. Like Star Wars is a massive, well-known property among the normies, if you will. Whereas Dune has its more dedicated hardcore fans. So you're just advertising for your next movie instead of like losing your IP.
Don't forget, Dune came out during COVID.
Sure.
It came out during a hard time. So,
I think Dune has the potential to be bigger too. Don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah. Plus, HBO's even going to be doing like a series that's going to take place. You could call it a prequel because it's going to take place hundreds and hundreds of years before the Bene Gesserit sisterhood. Kind of the founding of that and stuff.
Yeah, for those who don't know, Dune, a lot of books. His son carried it on. There's debate about how well
there's the core 6, and then there's more.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's a huge thing. It's just, again, not a very mainstream, well-known thing like Star Wars.
It's actually what we're heading towards. But even more on that topic, Bob Iger did say they are in conversations with Netflix to license out other content. Could this be something like the Dead on Arrival Willow series?
Maybe.
I mean, it's interesting, right?
I guess. I mean, better make some money off of it than none.
I mean, they do have some content that they could license out that maybe didn't do so well on their platform that they could put to Netflix. Netflix maybe somehow manages to make that content big and worthwhile, and maybe they are hoping it lures people into Disney Plus.
I don't know.
It's a weird situation.
Who knows what goes through the minds of these people?
But seeing as we did talk quite a bit about Marvel, we did get news of the delays. Yay. Well, because of the actor strike, because of rewriting, because of their new take on trying to not write woke on purpose.
I mean, is that their new take, or is that what they're saying?
That's what they said. They said I don't think they use those
words, but yeah.
Yeah, they...
Well, yeah, I know Blade was one of the movies delayed, and I heard, like, Blade wasn't even, like, the main character anymore.
Let's not forget, Blade was actually supposed to come out, like, last week.
Ooh.
Originally.
Yeah, I think they had, like, a bunch of, edit more female characters, and there were, like, moral lessons, and I guess they didn't watch the first couple Blade movies or ever read the comics, but...
It looks kind of sad, because it looks like next year for Marvel might be really small slated, unless something else pops up and they move things. But right now it looks like Deadpool 3 got delayed until July. It was supposed to come out earlier than that. Captain America Brave New World is now listed for February 14th, 2025. Thunderbolts is now listed for July 25th, 2025. Blade is now listed November 7th, 2025.
Yeah, that's your birthday movie for
it'll be Blade.
Yeah.
I liked the original Blade, and I liked Blade 3.
Yeah,
we don't talk about Blade
Ryan
2.
Reynolds. I loved Ryan Reynolds. He's always good in like everything. But yeah, Blade 3 was good. I liked all the Blade movies, honestly.
Blade 2 I didn't like as much as 1 and 3, but
yeah, that's fair.
Fair, haha. But that's what's kind of going on with Marvel. But talking about Rebel Moon a little more, we're gonna cover it on this channel. Definitely, we're gonna be those people on that hype train because Star Wars was on a little bit of a break for the holidays, I guess. So give us some knockoff Star Wars.
Well,
We'll watch
hopefully
that
it
in the
doesn't
meantime.
feel like knockoff Star Wars, because that's not a compliment necessarily.
Hopefully by then we'll know
Inspired
when we're going to get our next hit of Star Wars adrenaline. Hopefully by the time Rebel Moon premieres, we'll know what's coming next for Star Wars. We still need some dates coming here.
Yeah.
Now that the strike is over, there's not really an excuse not to give us dates.
Yeah.
Time to get the hype train going for Skeleton Crew, for the
or
next
Bad
season
Batch,
of Bad
season
Batch,
3,
for
whichever.
Acolyte. These things are all coming.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, high hopes for Rebel Moon. We'll see a little over a month from now.
Mm-hmm.
But until then, that's all we got for you this time. Now it's your turn to take to the comments below and tell us what you think of any and all of today's news or ramblings. And let's talk some Star Wars or some Rebel Moon. And until next time, thanks for watching.